I'm Carmen Wong-Ulrich, and on the money tonight, a big day for headlines, a big day for your money. You know, you guys work with clients all the time. Are any of your clients, what are they saying? Are they making any moves or not making any moves, waiting for the stimulus to go through? What are they saying?
Well, yeah, a lot of the people that call me on my radio show are paralyzed. They're just flat paralyzed because they are waiting for stimulus. They're waiting for something to happen. I don't think they realize, Carmen, that this is a long-term ball game. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. But the fact is, it's going to happen, and things are going to get better. And I think most of them have some optimism. You bet.
I was recently laid off from a CPA firm, a large CPA firm, and it's always been my dream to start my own business. And with the stimulus package going through the Senate today, I didn't know if it's really a good time to start your own business now.
Hey, Sal, from one paisano to the other, listen to me carefully. I launched a very successful wealth management business in the early 1990s, right smack dab in the middle of a recession. It's a great time to go out on your own because everything's cheap. You can buy furniture cheap. You can get internet access cheap.
A website, Sal, a website. Build a website cheap.
And by the way, you're a CPA.
I can do that myself.
Big companies are downsizing like crazy right now. They don't want to spend $800, $1,000 an hour. They'll hire Sal. So I say go for it.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, Daryl, the idea is, first of all, you're at the apex of the housing market meets the auto industry, and those numbers do not look good. But Daryl, it's a lot more than credit. I mean, guys, the jobs have to come back, income has to come back, and people are saving more, so they're less likely to spend, even if credit gets opened up, right?
But Daryl, there is something in this stimulus package that's good for your company. As I understand it, the company was doing gangbusters over the last 4 or 5 years. They made money. They were paying taxes. In the stimulus package, you now have a loss carry backward. You can go back 5 years and recapture taxes that have been paid over the last 5 years. This will put fresh capital back into the company and hopefully help the company get through the tough times.
You're using losses from this year to offset taxes back from last year.
You can go back 5 years. When you were paying taxes 5 years ago, you can go back and recapture some of those taxes that you already paid and put them in your pocket right now. Neil, first off, no, you don't save for your retirement when you owe a bunch of credit card debt. You have $30,000 in debt. The interest rates are probably
including the legal fees.
Yeah, but with the interest rate alone, hopefully your attorney's cutting you some slack on the interest rate. But credit card interest is not tax deductible. If you're paying 10, 12, 15%, if I could offer you an investment that paid you a guaranteed tax-free 10, 12, 15% return, you'd take it in a heartbeat.
You'd say Madoff is what you'd say.
and that's what you get by paying down the debt. So please, you've got plenty of time to save for your retirement. We have all kinds of ways. You know, you can put over $20,000 away once you're 50 in a 401k plan. Plenty of time to save for retirement. Let's get the debts paid off and get the attorney paid off.
First of all, Ray, I want you to explain a little bit about the annuity product he has, because most folks with annuities, different types of annuities, would see a huge penalty that absolutely make no sense. He's saying his penalty is closer to 10%. I still don't think it makes sense.
It's a ludicrous penalty, first off. You shouldn't get out now. This is an equity indexed annuity. That means your principal is protected. You're going to get $225,000 out of this annuity. If you wait a few months, you don't pay the penalty. If you choose then to do a 1035 exchange or cash out and pay taxes, that's up to you. But to get out of an equity indexed annuity, which incidentally, the reason it's called an equity indexed annuity is because your interest that's credited on this policy is credited based on how well the index performs. So to get out of the market, to get into the market makes absolutely no sense.
I'm Carmen Wong-Ulrich, and on the money tonight, from crisis to comeback. Whether you've lost your job or think you're next in line, we've got the money moves you can make right now to ensure a quick recovery. How am I going to get by? What are you hearing?
Well, first off, you've got to play defense. There's a lot of people out there that are extremely concerned about losing their job. We've got a lot of callers tonight that are concerned about that. What I say is play defense. You've got to start raising cash. If that means paying minimums on your credit cards, do that. Raise some cash, clean out that garage, and start selling stuff on eBay because you don't know how long you're going to be unemployed in this kind of a market.
Alan in California. Alan, what's your dollar dilemma?
We purchased a home for $540,000 last year. Used a $400,000 first mortgage and a $100,000 home equity loan. The value is now about $450,000 for the home. If I end up getting foreclosed, will they have a way of coming after other assets for the $100,000 home equity loan of credit that I have?
Yeah, Alan, I mean, that's the thing. The home equity line, the credit is a lot different than the mortgage, right?
Listen, Alan, this is serious because when you have a purchase money mortgage, that's the mortgage that you get when you buy a home. that you're safe on. They can't come after you for that. A home equity line of credit, or when you refinance a purchase money mortgage, then you are putting your other assets at risk. So be very, very careful here.
But they can go after the home as the asset or
well, you have a homestead
assets.
exemption, though, because if you have equity in the home, they're going to have a hard time getting after the home. But if you have stocks and bonds and CDs and all that, they can go after that, and they will.
I always say that, listen, the time when you lose a job is not the time to necessarily make moves on your 401k. But, Ray, what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with that. If you've got enough severance and you've got $20,000 or $30,000 of cash in the bank, and that can get you through the next year or so, and I think Bill brings up a good point. It may not, but for the most part, I would stay invested, and I'll tell you why. We may not be near the bottom yet, but I got to believe we're closer to the bottom than we were to the top several years ago. So when you think about this, 32%, remember that number. That's what the market comes back from the low point 1 year later. So if you've lost a bunch, if you move all that money into cash, you're not going to get back much at 2 or 3%.
And I'm a huge fan of just rolling these babies together.
Well, you have really a couple of options. You can do a self-directed IRA where you can control the investments. You can buy CDs and bonds and stocks and mutual funds and just about anything under the sun. But here's one thing. If you feel as if you might need to get your hands on that money and you don't want to have to pay taxes, you want to string the tax burden out, rolling that to your new 401k can be somewhat advantageous because you can borrow money from a 401k. You can't borrow money from an IRA. One of the things you can do is you can fund your 401k plan. You should always fund up to the company match because you're getting free money.
Right.
But then if you want to build up that cash cushion and you're not certain whether or not you're going to need the cash for an emergency, flip over and put money into a Roth IRA. Remember, if you make contributions to a Roth IRA, you can pull those contributions out without penalties. You don't have to wait 5 years. It's first in, first out, FIFO. So you fund the 401k up to the match and then go to the Roth IRA. And that's sort of a compromise between the two.
Yeah, because right now that emergency fund is so important in times like these. I mean, this is really serious, right?
Well, one of the things you have to do is you have to run your personal finances like you would run a company. So you've got your monthly board meetings, you've got your financial statements, and maybe every once in a while you do make a call or two. You see, I think you need to inspect what you expect. If you expect the bills to be paid on a timely basis and you don't inspect it, well, then you're in part culpable as well.